So I get distracted by a lot of things, all these questions, right? And one of the questions I get distracted by is one of those things that everyone has thought of at some point. Or you've all thought of it. You've all gone, oh my God, what if you all see colours differently? And every single one of you at some point has thought, I wonder how much of Paul McCartney's life he spent singing Hey Jude. You've all thought it. Now I've worked it out, so don't worry, I've got your backs. Now Paul McCartney has performed Hey Jude 668 times according to setlist.fm. 668 times. Now we'll round that up. He started performing it in 1989, a little bit later than you'd think, 1989, to celebrate the birth of Taylor Swift. Now, because he couldn't play back in the USSR anymore. 1989 he starts performing it. Since then, 668 times. Let's round that up to 700. That makes sense. Some private performances, like that kind of thing. Another 30, 700. So it's 700. We'll put it 700. So now an average performance of Hey Jude lasts 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Remarkably consistent. 7 minutes and 11 seconds, right? So that over 700 times is 83 hours and 17 minutes, or 3.5 days. So that's how long Paul McCartney's spent performing Hey Jude. But what about rehearsals? So, now, since 1989, Paul McCartney has toured 20 times. 20 times. And I looked it up, he does average 3 weeks of rehearsals. Now, let's assume he does Hey Jude every single day, once a day in rehearsals. Sometimes not at all, sometimes maybe twice, depending on production needs. So that adds another 300 performances of Hey Jude, right? 300 times, which brings it to 1,000 performances of Hey Jude. 1,000, right? Or 420,000 seconds. Or 5 days of Paul McCartney's life. So that's the answer. But what about when he wrote it? So, McCartney wrote Hey Jude in 1968, right? 1968, McCartney writes Hey Jude. He writes it on the way to see Cynthia Lennon and her son Julian, John Lennon's ex-wife and son, because they just split up. Like Cynthia and John Lennon have just got divorced, and McCartney is a really good friend to her. Genuinely, he knocked on the door with a rose and said, "Oh, what about it, Sin?" Like, cunt. Actually, my favourite McCartney story, you know who Tony Visconti is? Yeah, David Bowie's producer, doing more here than most people realise. Tony Visconti and David Bowie got off their tits on coke with John Lennon in the 70s. And Visconti had just done the strings for McCartney's band On the Run. And he hadn't got credit on the album. So he was moaning to Lennon about this, telling him all about it. And Lennon goes, "Oh, I'm really glad you told me that, Tony, because I was thinking about writing some stuff for Paul, and you just reminded me what a cunt he is." So, 1968 they write Hey Jude. They do, over 4 days they record it. They do one live version in a pub on the piano, just McCartney elbows somebody else off and just plays his new single, Cunt. They do 4 days recording, they do 25 takes, so that's 1,025 versions. Now there's a video. According to extras in the video, they did dozens of takes. So conservatively, dozens, 24, 2. We'll say 2 dozen. And that takes us up to 1,050 times. 1,050 performances of Hey Jude, or 5.5 days of Paul McCartney's life. That's the answer. So the next obvious question is, how long has he spent singing the word nah? Now there are 217 nahs in Hey Jude, right? Now there are 55 long nahs. Nah. They're about 2 seconds each. And there are the regular 75% short nahs, about half a second. No, 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 no. Right, so add those together, over 1,050 performances, that is 342,375 nahs, right? That's 85,593 long nahs. Nah. And 256,781 short nahs, right? Which is 299,578.2 seconds, or 4,999.97 minutes, or 3.5 days, or 2% of Paul McCartney's life. Just saying nah. Which is the length of the Battle of Gettysburg. Or the amount of time it takes to watch every episode of either Friends or The Sopranos, depending on taste. Or the good episodes of The Simpsons. Or or the length of, genuinely, the entire length of that music festival. Andrew, what's that music festival? We went there once.
Bearded Theory.
No! Not Derbyshire's Bearded Theory. Woodstock. That's exactly like the Woodstock Festival, which I really like, because Woodstock took place a year after McCartney released Hey Jude, and there's definitely one hippie off his tits on acid who did spend 3 days going, no, my entire lifetime's worth out at once. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was lovely. Thank you very much for listening. My name's Mark.